at the Saga of the Soul, and today we will be discussing about the origin of the language and origin of the Veda. It's a very interesting subject, very interesting way they have expressed. But before that, as we usually do, let us chant this mantra. Naham manusho nacha deva yakshaha na brahmana kshatriya vaishya shudraha nacha brahmachari na grihi vanasthava bhikshur nacha aham nija bodha sarupaha. Along with this, all this negation that I am not this, I am not this, I am not this, I am the Brahman and my soul is my identity. Nija Bodha Sarupa. Now, again, as because we are going to study the Veda, let us chant also this prayer. Bhadram Karnevi Srinuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashe Maksha Bhiriyayatraha. It is not written over there in the sleep, but this is the prayer that pray to the Almighty God. May we listen with our ears to what is good. This is a wonderful prayer. They are not asking anything except the opportunity to listen the very good words. Bhadram Pashe, and may we see with our eyes to what is good. So if we can listen, hear, and if we can see the good things, then automatically within our soul, within our mind, the strive will come, desire will come to become good. And that is the whole of the human life. We are always trying to be perfect. We are always trying to be good. Now, in our last discussion, we have started understanding the Vedas, and I call that the storehouse of knowledge, the Vedas. We have discussed about the traditional views about the Vedas. Again, we will do afterwards when individual Veda we will discuss, like the Vedas are not of human origin, etc. Today, we shall try to understand, try to go much earlier period than the Vedas and try to know the origin of language. And this is very important. Why? Unless we know how the language was created, we will never be able to know how this Veda was created, how the Veda came up. So, the language, who created the speech? And this is according to the Veda, according to the ancient scripture. Who created the speech? Among many theories, most popular theory that Vedas says God or Deva has first created the speech. The moment we say the Devas, moment we say the God has created the speech, we don't like to believe. Most of the people don't like to believe. Why? Because we cannot see it. We cannot prove it. And we have only 5 options to prove. What are those? By seeing, by hearing, by smelling, by touching, these 5 organs. As because we cannot reach to God or comprehend God with the help of these five senses, then we think that beyond these there is nothing. But exactly opposite. Main thing, the main power, the main active force is beyond this. And here we find when they say Deva, what do they mean by Deva? Rig Veda, the eighth the volume of the Rig Veda, it says, Daivim Vacham Ajayanta Devaha Nama Vishwarupa Prashabho Vadanti. Prashabho, they created. They created Prashabho Vadanti. They say, they never, the Veda never say, I am telling. Always say, they said. Who is that? Who is they? This is, they got that idea. So they always refer to something else. They said. What they said? That the language was created, speech was created. By whom? Daivi. Daivi Vacham, the divine speech, was Ajayanta Devaha Nama Vishwarupa. They created this. Divine speech was created by God. Now the rishis, they are now dividing this speech into sections. One, always, that is the very, very special of the Hindus and the Indians. They always think about the external and internal. They never stop just by telling about the external thing which we can see and perceive. All is internal. So they said Parabhak, Aparabhak. About the knowledge, again they said Paracha, Eva, Aparacha. Cha means and. The cha is and. There is external science and internal spiritual knowledge. Here they say Bak, the speech, that is also having para and apara. Apara external, para internal. Parabhak is abhyakta. Abhyakta means unspoken speech. This is called parabhak. Here I will request your attention because this is a little subtle thing. I am not speaking, but I am speaking. I am giving the discourse without speaking. If we both had that quality, we could understand this. That's called parabhak. Another name of the para means the higher. Another name is abhyakta bhak. What is that abhyakta? Unspoken speech. Rishis used to communicate through mental waves. They used to communicate through mental waves. Now we can remember the incident that happened in the life of Ma Sharada Mani Devi, our mother. She was in Bangalore, and that local dialect she was not knowing. In fact, she was only knowing Bengali language and nothing else. And the Bangalore people there, by nature, very devoted. When they came to know that the Guru Patni or the Divine Mother, Ma Sarada Devi has come, they came in big group. Morning to evening they were sitting before her. Naturally, in charge of the center, he was feeling embarrassed. Oh, so many people have come and Mother is not telling anything. If Mother had told anything even in Bengali, he could translate it. He could organize the translation, he could tell that after translation. That was, Mother is sitting quietly, just looking at those people, going on glancing, and they are also intently looking at her. Hours together. And out of curiosity, the Swamiji then asked those people, the mother has a habit of not speaking, so she is not speaking. So naturally, no, out of curiosity afterwards. Now, just to say, to pacify these people, he went and told those people, I'm sorry, the mother is not speaking. She is that habit, she can't speak, and like that. Then those people told, what do you say? Mother is constantly talking with us, and we are understanding it very much. All our doubts have been cleared by the mother. Each and every one was getting the answer. How you will explain it? And this is called Parabhak. The people had that capacity to speak. Swami Vivekananda came to America. Every day he was delivering lectures, sometimes 11 lectures in a day. And now, where you will get the subject, how you will express all those things? So how many thoughts are there? Just to speak this, I had to spend 2 hours in the flight. I was coming back from New Jersey yesterday, and it was lucky that I got a good space. At least I could read that. And at the time of going from here to New Jersey to speak on happiness, I had to study a lot. And out of compassion, the lady, that air hostess as we call them, she told, sir, you are working very hard. Can I give you one more cup of coffee? I told, I appreciate. So she was thinking that because it is not my hard working, I had to deliver the lecture, so I was preparing. I was not getting from the internal, I had to get it collected from external. But Swami Vivekananda, where from? There was no book in those days. Remember, it is in 1892, 93, 94, that time. You cannot imagine that the books will be there in the library about our Hindu religion and all. He used to hear the voice of Sri Ramakrishna constantly, encouraging him, dictating him. These are the proofs that Parabhak, Abhyakta, without spoken, without the speech, that can be communicated. So, this is the Parabhak, is Abhyaktavak, unspoken, and another is Apara. A is negative. Para, higher. Apara is not higher, general. That is called Vyakta Bhag. That is exactly what we are using now. Vyakta, expression, articulate speech. It's a physiological phenomena, we all know. When we express a word, we pass through 3 stages. When we are expressing something, the 3 stages, we will come to Veda. The Veda is knowledge. So before we go to that, this is the expression, how we learn to give the expression. The moment we are trying to give the expression, the 3 stages we are supposed to pass, what is that? Perception of action present in object that is outside. And second, concept formation in the mind. And the third, articulation or expression of that concept into sound. That's all. The writers, the same human being, they see the same thing. But when they articulate, when they express, it's so beautiful. We read that. If somebody is speaking about you, and if he is, as a writer, he will write in such a way, you yourself will read, oh, it is so good, I was not knowing I am so good, people. So naturally, this way, we always think, because the capacity to express, why one can express nicely, another cannot? Because that is concept formation, that is very important. Those who become the leaders, not always political leaders, even in the offices, when they are meeting the board, people are there, you have to convince them. So obviously articulation is the main thing. So the language is so important. And the first thing you are observing and then taking that information into your mind, you are articulating and conception is coming, and that is coming out as sound. Now, there is no concept in the world that can be expressed without sound, said the Bhartruhari. Remember, the Bhartruhari, a very respected person in the Hindu tradition, he is mentioning there is no concept in the world, the external world. But there, Parabhak is there, Abhyakta is there, unspoken speech is there. So obviously, the Bhartruhari is telling, na sa asti, na, not, sa, there, means in the world, asti, pratyayo, pratyaya loke. Pratyayo means the concept. Here the word, there's same word, different meaning. Pratyaya loke, loke in this world. Shabda, without the sound, nothing can be expressed. In the beginning, according to ancient linguists, sounds were known as akhyata. Akhyata. The sound, any sound, the animals, the birds, and the human being, whatever sound they are making, that only thing they could mention about that, akhyata. Akhyata means expressed. We can imagine the very primitive life. They were active, and they were active to save themselves. But the language was very less. They used to keep quiet. And sometimes some sounds are there, they are expressing that sound, the creation of that sound, they named as akhyata. That is a great achievement. Identifying something with a name. So now the noun is coming. Names are coming. So the first thing is akhyata. What is the sound expressed? By sound, what they are expressing? Object. If you listen to, I was there in the jungle in Arunachal Pradesh. I had the opportunity sometimes to observe the elephants from distance. Usually they don't disturb. Only the smell, our body smell, body odor, they are not accustomed, so they become conscious to what is going to happen. Otherwise, no problem. If the wind is blowing from that side where the elephants are there and you are just in the opposite, they are not getting your smell, no problem. Even if they look at you, they don't understand what is that. For them, we are so tiny little being, nothing, they don't feel. So that way, I observed the elephant. I saw one baby elephant is not listening to the mother. Of course, to observe that, I had to be there for more than an hour in that jungle in the night and constantly taking the name of God because of fear. We cannot go back because the moment you start the engine, immediately they will notice. So quietly we were sitting inside and we were looking at, and it was moonlit night. I could see exactly like our mothers, that elephant mother was giving the training to that baby. And baby wanted to go to the field where they had the rice and all that. So it is easy. So he could go and eat. But the mother knew people are there. They will beat. They will throw the fire and all that. So she was constantly asking the baby to go to the left side, and baby was always trying to the right side. So the game was going on. Will you believe different type of sound we could hear that the mother, she was, and we could sometimes understand that she is angry, and sometimes trying to pacify that baby. And then finally, when it was not working, it is not America, so they could beat. He beat the baby. And she was beating the baby from the right side with the tongue, and the baby was supposed to go to the left. Of course, the last moment also she was standing like this. that baby not wanted to go down to the slope, and the mother wanted to go to that left side slope, and the baby was resisting like this, keeping both the front legs. Then the mother gave a big push and it slided. So that was, I have seen how everything is going on. This is the wonderful way, how sound, and every sound has a meaning. So that is the reason when we are making a sound, no sa asti, pratyayo, loke, shabda. Without the sound, nothing can be expressed. That is Bhartrihari said. And again it says, what actually the expression in the language, what is that? That's called bhava. And sometimes some people, even nowadays, without, and there is no time to say something, the speedy car is speeding towards someone and he is not careful, what other people observing that they will do? They will shout only. When they are shouting, there is no word, but the expression of fear. Something going to happen. So that way only we are creating some sound, and that particular sound is expressing bhava. What is that bhava? Bhava means an action. The meaning of that is the bhava. I am afraid is the bhava. I am happy is a bhava. So that bhava, sounds are basically the expressions of the actions of the object, and that actions of the objects are known as bhava. The most ancient people learned to express the actions of the objects through sounds. They slowly associated actions with the respective object permanently. This is the next very big leap. When that sound they could understand, they created, and that those sounds, different type of sounds, they were associating with some different type of actions, and they associated it permanently, so it became the noun or the names. Again, the Yaksha, a very famous scholar, Vedic scholar, he says, Murtani Satya Bhutam. Satya Namabhihi. Murtani, objects, Satya Bhutam, became permanent. Objects became permanent, and that permanent Satya Namabhihi, they got the names. And the particular name, when we say car or these, train, the moment we say train, we can understand what is it. It's not a car. When you say plane, we know what is it. It's not a train. How we differentiate? The shabda, the sound, associated with an object, and it became permanent, so we can understand the language. So the creation of the language is coming. Murtani, the murtis, the objects. Satya Bhutani, they are becoming permanent. Satya means permanent. And Satya Bhutam, Satya, again that permanent object, Namabhihi, getting a name. Then came another scholar, Shaunaka. He is also mentioning this. Why I am quoting different scholars? Because it's not the idea of one person. It's the idea of many. And in different time, the same idea they are expressing. The Shaunaka, Murtam, again the object, Satya Bhutam. See the word they are using, Satya Bhutam. It became permanent. Satya means permanent. Bhavam nama shabdena abhidiyate. Bhavam nama shabdena abhidiyate. The shabda, the sound, it has a bhava. Bhava means the meaning of the sound. What is the meaning? An object. Now we are using millions of words to express ourselves. We are going to a doctor, different terminology. We are going to the shops, different terminology. we are going to the computer, different terminology. So many varieties. And first I heard booting. What is that booting? I was not knowing. In the computer they say booting. What is that booting? I was confused. Booting, it must be very, nothing, only pressing that and putting it on. When you are putting on the computer, it's called booting. So, this way only, going on and on and on. And in computer, when they say cut, don't be afraid. So, because cut means they are only taking some portion and paste, they are placing somewhere else. New terminologies are coming. In those people whom we call thugs, dangerous people, they have the terminologies. And they have created it. Not that any learned people went and wrote and gave it to them. They have created it. So, the language, according to the condition, situation, demand, the human being creating it. And what are all those language? Words, sound. And what the sounds are associated with some object, right? So, the sound associated with an object permanently is called Satya Bhutam. Satya, permanent. It became permanent. So, the Saunaka, another, he is also telling Murtam Satya Bhutam Bhabam. Bhabam means the idea. Nama Shabdena. And they are very happy. Because slowly, step by step, when a child can't express anything, but the mother can understand. Sometimes he is doing something, the mother can understand, the baby is hungry, or baby wants to sleep, baby wants to do this, baby wants to do that. How the mother can understand? The baby is not giving anything but sound. With the sound constantly observing, associated, the mother can say, this means this. Those people who are handling the dogs, training the dogs, they know how to communicate with the dogs. You don't know. How they are doing it? The same sound, same tone. I applied this thing in our school in Arunachal Pradesh. When I found that tribal students, they are coming, first generation, and they came in the first standard. Every year, 100 boys, all the 100 boys, none of them could pass the test. I told, what is this? No, they are like this, in the second or third, in that standard, they will learn. I told, it cannot be. It's a human being. They have the intellect. There is something wrong in our process of teaching. So, I observed from distance, I found fast, they have not seen people like us. They have not seen dresses like us. So, obviously, they are coming from deep villages, and when they see the new faces, new people, a new way of living, they are afraid. And when they are afraid, usually the children, when they are afraid, they go behind the mother. In the school, in the hostel, there is no mother. So, in the classroom, they used to huddle together, 4 or 5 boys, they are huddling together, looking at the teacher, intently trying to register, is this person is dangerous for us or friendly? I observed from the window, and then slowly I observed they are afraid. As because they are afraid, they cannot open up the mind, they are not listening at all. And then again I observed in the student's home, the person who is to look after them is a 6-feeter, very heavy, big moustache, but the children are not afraid at all, because constant association with him, they understood that this man is a good person, and when he is lying down, they are all jumping on his belly. He had him. So, like that, they were very happy playing with the man. Then I understood it, and I started one teacher, one class system. And when the teacher regularly going and taking the whole day there with the children, they associated and could understand this is the person good. First. Secondly, I told, don't give them education in the classroom. Take them outside. English and all other things is so difficult for them. So don't go on forcing them, take them outside and then show them a tree again and again, tree, 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 and they will associate the tree and the sound. When that sound, the shabda, is associated with the object, bhava, in Sanskrit the difficulty is the terminologies are different. If we can understand that, the shabda is the object and meaning is the bhava. So the tree is an object and the meaning is a tree. So they understood it. Then I told them that you put your finger on your nose and say nose again and again. Whether they understand it or not, then after some time you just keep your hand straight and say nose, and they will touch their nose. And they started like that, nose, the ear, the head, the sky, the birds. That way they learned so fast. And then I started writing M-A-T-H-E-R. One boy having only M, another A, like that. Then I told, go and hide. And other people I told, don't call them by name, only catch the A and the aim, and like this. And naturally it's a game, they are hiding, these people go and searching and bringing them out. So I told, in this fashion, asked them to stand. When they stood, M-O-T-H-E-R, mother. Mother means ma. So they learned so quickly because this system. So the primitive person, they learned so quickly because they associated the sound with the object. So this is the language. Then Satapat Brahmana, this is another scripture, and we came to know that the Vyakta means the expressed, articulated speech used by human. But what about the trees? What about the creepers? They don't make any sound. That too they understood. And here they said Nipata. Nipata. Nipata means it's not expressed. Undefined. Undefined is called Nipata. The trees are speaking. The creepers are speaking. But we can't hear it because there is no sound. So their language was given the name by the Veda as the Nipata. And much afterwards, the grammarian Patanjali, he mentioned, it divided this Vak as 4 groups. One is Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari. And these are now the modern language, these 4 different types are there. This called the Vak is there. Vak means the language, and the Vaikhari means the argument when you do all this. And the Rig Veda describes how from primitive speech, refined speech took form. Previously, speech was grammatically undefined. They are mentioning, I am not reading the Sanskrit. Previously, speech was grammatically undefined. The scholars, now they are using the word Devaha for the scholars. Whenever the respected person, Deva, the scholars got together and approached the Indra, a very learned person. Te Deva Indram Abrubhani. Te, all those Deva scholars, went to the Indra, maybe there is a very learned person, Abrubhani, and they said the speech should be defined, grammatically perfect. And the Indra gave them assurance that will be done. So if we know this, we can understand how the human history is progressing. Thus, with the view to define the speech or language in proper grammar, many scholars assembled and worked. This action was named as very peculiar to the Vedic, that action of assembly and then taking the decision how the language should be grammatically formed, they call it yajna. The moment you call it yajna, obviously we think nowadays the yajna, the Hindus, they mean, yajna means pouring the oblation into the fire. No. Any good work for the betterment of others mean yajna. Yajna is any good work for the betterment of others. So they understood for the whole humanity, language is the most important thing. We have to express ourselves. They were growing, they were understanding, they were realizing, but they were unable to express. So that is the main thing, the yajna. It went on for thousands of years at stretch. Rig Veda mentioned Daivim Bacham Yajnanata Devatam Vishwarupa Prasabha Badanti. The rishis gave birth to a grammatically correct language, a divine language. So how the language, nowadays it is known as Sanskrit. Why the Sanskrit? Because it is chastised, it is grammatically correct. So Sanskrita, Sanskriti. And the cultured, if we call the cultured, it's called Sanskriti. And what is the culture? The best way, constantly. It's not just the habit is a culture. The bad habit, it's not a culture. It's a bad habit only. The culture is those actions, repeated actions, which is for the benefit or which are for the benefit of the human being. Here, they went on and on. It's not a one day. Thousands of years passed, so many rishis, they participated, then they came into the decision the language should be like this. It was not so difficult. And now they say the Rig Veda, they are registering this, Daivim Bacham Yajnanata Devatam Vishwarupa Prasabha Badanti. Rishis, Devatam, the rishis. Vishwarupa Prasabha Badanti gave birth to a grammatically correct language, a divine language. Scholars were termed as devas. And that is also, simply we say the scholars were termed as deva? No, they also mention Vidvamsa by deva. Vidvamsa, the scholars, should be deva. And in our society, they always said, anyone, if he is a learned person, you must pay respect. And at the time of Ma Sharadamani Devi, one person came, you know the Hindu, the caste system, then obviously Brahmin, and this person was not a Brahmin and lower caste, but he was a doctor. He came to visit the mother's house. Mother, Ma Sharadamani Devi, she was Brahmin, her relatives were Brahmin, higher caste, but she asked the younger people in the household, go and touch the feet of that gentleman. Others told, no, mother, you perhaps don't know. He is not a Brahmin. Then the mother told, what is that? A learned person is a Brahmin, and you should go and touch his feet. So that is the tradition of the India. Now it has, some people, they are using it in a wrong way. That is a different question. Here, this Vidvamsa by Devaha, learners are Deva. Rig Veda again records two classes of scholars who performed this great job of creating the language. Two classes, what? One is Vashishthas and Somins. You know, when there may be a group of historians, they are writing the history. Not that all the historians are doing the same thing, they will be giving different job to perform. The similar way, when they were forming the language, these two classes mainly, Vashishthas and Somins. Why so specific about it? Because to understand whatever the Veda is talking about the formation of the language, it's true. It's not just one sentence they made and immediately we understand, not that. They are giving the references of everything. The greatest scholar who handled this massive work became known as Brahma, the creator. So they gave the name Brahma. Now they say how the language came down. One after another, the great scholars, they took the responsibility and going on carrying this language to the ordinary people. How? First is Brahma, Brihaspati, Prabhacha. The Brahma, he talked to that Brihaspati, a very intelligent person. And sometimes even nowadays, if a person is very intelligent, the Hindus, they say Brihaspati. That means he has the capacity to understand so many things. Very capable person. So Brahma, the creator, he gave that language to Brihaspati, Prabhacha. Brahma, Brihaspati, Prabhacha. He gave that to Brihaspati. Brihaspati to Indra. Indra to Bharadwaja. Bharadwaja to the rishis. How it is coming down. And the rishis to the whole society. So that this language is coming, the most genius among all the rishis was Bharadwaja. He actually was accepted by everyone, the last Bharadwaja. And there is a Gotra among the Hindus, Bharadwaja Gotra. And they are all Brahmins. And they are very proud of it. Because the Bharadwaja gave many corrections in the society. The Hindu society, now that we see a very cultured society, who actually did it? And like any primitive race, they were there, but slowly this type of leaders came and they were going on changing for the betterment of the lifestyle. So now it has come up to this. Thus the work to give origin to a divine language accomplished. In the course of thousands of years, by a long tradition of scholars, rishis, the seers. Sanskrita nama Daivi Bhag. Sanskrita means Sanskrit. Nama, that is the name. Daivi is the divine. Bhag, the language. The divine language is Sanskrit. Why? Grammatically very perfect. And whatever they write, exactly that they pronounce. It's very easy. Sanskrit is the name of the most scientific language. Now the origin of the Veda comes. After the language comes, what next? They never stopped. Friends, you may be remembering, those who are following this class every time, we started with one word of the Veda again. Charaiveti, Charaiveti. Move forward, don't stop. Look at it, wave after wave. As in the family we see one person coming and doing something, next person giving another shape, next person another shape. Exactly like this, the society that grew up in the Indian peninsula, they waves after waves, this type of people came and they were taking, and that's why there's so much of respect for the rishis. And though we are not rishis, still that respect is lingering, though lowered down. But still, people, the moment there will be any monk, they always think is a respected person. So that way, that respect is there because they gave a good shape, the complete shape for the society. And when the language was over, what they did? The present day scholars are of opinion that after the first great work means creation of the language, standardization of the language was over, rishis started second yajna again. Yajna means that performance, composition of literally couplets collecting the revelations and the realizations of the rishis with the help of the divine language. Now many of the people, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he was not linguist, he was not knowing the proper language, all the languages that he has used, sometimes so very in a village language we always call. He is giving the explanation. but the expressions is excellent. So what we do, sometimes some people, they will give the language they will change, but the expression they keep, and that is a great work. And that is the reason sometimes some people can't speak properly, but they have realized the truth. So they give that expression. I have seen many people, they are going to the tribals and asking, suppose you cut your hand, how you are healing. They can't express, but they show the herb, and they immediately, the tribals are like that. So they will cut the hand a little. When the blood is coming out, they will chew that herb and put it over there. It stopped. And these people are noting, then taking the photo, and if possible taking that herbs also along with them. They are scientists. They are researching. Then afterwards they will come out with a medicine. They will earn a lot of money and respect in the society. But where from it came? And in those days, many of the rishis who were researching with the heart, mind, and they came out, revealed wonderful truths. And these people, the group of people with the created wonderful language, Sanskrit language, they started collecting that and putting in the Veda. Rig Veda once again mentioning about it. The rishis carried out the yajnas, and this time the yajna name was Chanda. Why is Chanda? Because the couplets, the knowledges that they were collecting. The rishis carried out the yajna chandas, namely the compositions of the mantra by means of standardized language. The chandas, couplets filled with knowledge, became the first ever dharma, and that is Veda. How the Veda came? This is the history of the Veda. Yashka, an ancient Vedic scholar, says, Shakshat Krita, this is a very important word. The Veda, the knowledge, these people, they went, they collected, and they put it in a proper language. But what those words were? Here the Yashka says, Shakshat Krita Dharman. Dharman means the truth. Shakshat Krita Dharman, realizing the truth themselves, Rishaya Babhuva. Dharma was revealed to the rishis, and they saw it as a Shakshat Krita. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, when he was mentioning to many about a young boy, Narendranath, he was only studying in this college, and he told, nowadays the Keshav is so famous, whatever the power the Keshav is having, 18 times more power is there in this young boy. When even the Narendranath told, Sir, I know you love me, but don't exaggerate so much about me. And what was his reply? I don't say this. Mother showed it to me. Mother means Goddess Kali, the divine. That's called revelation. So this revelation is very, very important. When the Master Mahashaya, the person who recorded all the conversation of Sri Ramakrishna, of course not all, when he came to Sri Ramakrishna, from that 4 years only. So he was a MA, and he came, he heard, and he was wondering, my God, where from so much of knowledge is coming? So he was inquiring from others, and he was inquiring, where are the books? In his room there is no book. So he was thinking, must be a separate study room is there for Sri Ramakrishna. So he was asking the person, does he read a lot? Is there any other separate room is there full of books? That lady, she told, books? Nothing, not a single book, everything in his tongue. So whatever she understood, she told, but that was the truth, revelation. It doesn't need any book. The knowledge that comes from outside, after reading many things, it is lot of loopholes. But the knowledge which comes from inside, the revelation, the Shakshat Krita Dharman, after realizing the truth, Rishaya Babhuva, and these rishis, Rishaya Vai Mantra Drashtaha. The rishis are Mantra Drashta. This is another. Now they are giving the expression about the rishis. Who are these rishis? Mantra Drashta. Please remember this word. Otherwise, you always mix up. Most of the people, they say, why do you say the Veda is the divine? Mantra Drashta. They saw the truth. Saw where? Rishis were those to whom these truths were revealed, mantras were revealed. Again they are mentioning Yashya Bhakyam Sa Rishi. Why they are giving so many definitions about the Rishi? So that we do not make any mistake about thinking anyone can say something. Rishi Bhakya, no, that cannot be. Rishi Bhakya means those who has afterwards will come, will see how much they used to restrain themselves, they used to control themselves, they used to meditate, and they used to concentrate, and then finally coming up with the truth. Anyone cannot become a scientist. Can anyone be? No. The scientists are giving up everything, the sacrifice. The family members are not at all happy with the scientist, and the local people are not at all happy with the scientist. In the society, he is not accepted in that way because he cannot express. Constantly he is thinking something else, and people will say he is mad. See, he is not. But when he discovers a medicine or something else, then the benefit of that is enjoyed by the whole society. So this sacrifice means they are not that way understood, properly understood, not only by the society, by his own family people. Tremendous sacrifice. The rishis, they used to do that. Rishis are spiritual scientists to reveal this. And these rishis, Rishaya Vai Mantra Drashtaha, those who have revealed the truth, Yashya Bhakyam Sa Rishi, who can tell the truth, he is a rishi. So see how then the rishis were known as Devata. So whenever we are thinking this man is a great person, so what we say up to some of the countries, they give sar. They are giving that upadhi sar, and then knight or these and that. In our country, we used to give Devata. The most respected person in the society, Devata. Ya tena uchyate sa Devata. The word Devata was used in the most respected, realized souls. You know, I was in Assam also, because I used to move around Assam. I noticed and in Assamese language, the father is Devata. And of course, in the local term, it has become Devta. The Devta is Devata, is most respected person. And the Vedas are not the revelations of one or two rishis. It was the created collection of the knowledge of many rishis. In Vajasaneya Samhita, we find they mention Tasmat, Yagyat, Sarvahutaha, Richa, Samani, Yaggire, Chandamamsi, Yaggire Tasmat, Yaju Tasmat, Ajayanta. Now they are giving the description, though the language is very, very old, so obviously, so here they say Tasmat Yagyat. From that work, hard work, of so many people, what came up? Yagya means, I told you and I repeat, a work for the benefit of others, any work. That's called yagya. If you see that something is falling over there, if a person without noticing step over that, it may slip, you take it out and put it in a different place so that the people at the back will not get hurt, yagya. is a good work for the betterment of others. Here, tasmad yajnat sarvahuta richa samani yajnire. From the yajna in which the oblations were made by all rishis originated, in which all rishis, they are giving the oblation, not one. That means the Veda is not the creation of one or two rishis, it is the creation of many. And what is that? From the oblation it came Richa. Richa means Rig Veda. Samanas means Samaveda. Yajush, Yajurveda, and other mantras. Then interestingly, in this yajna, the first time, the rishis did not offer any material or classified barter, but the couplets, they were offering all that couplets. So it says, pronouncement of riches was considered as milk. Usually in the yajna they pour milk, and here they were telling when the riches is a special type of mantras, and when Rig Veda, we will study Rig Veda afterwards, when they were going on chanting those mantras, they thought that we are pouring the ghee, the milk, and the pronouncement of the Yajush as a ghee. And similarly, the pronouncement of the Samas as Soma, Paya Ahutaya Haba ete Devanam Yad Richa. In the Shatapat Brahmana, they mention like this. Could anyone become Rishi? No. Tapa was necessary. Tapa means hot and difficult, very, very difficult, because they had to control their mind and senses completely. This is a very difficult job, and then only one can become Rishi. In that still mind, truth revealed, though it was expressed by a human, but the knowledge that he or she expressed was not from the intellect but from the realization. So it is said, Veda apurusheya, Vedas are not created by human. And some scholars argue, quoting from the Shatapatha Brahmana, something that we will take up that in the next class. Tomorrow I am going to that Trinidad and Tobago. That is a small country, and I will be there almost for the whole week. When they were making the program, I was not very much aware how many days, and now I find it is from the Monday to Saturday, almost the whole week I will be there. And of course, the picture that I saw, it is more like our Andaman, so I think I will get back those days of Andaman. So there I will be there on Saturday evening. I am coming back. I will be meeting many people over there, delivering every day two lectures. So on the 6 days, 12 lectures I will deliver, and then Saturday I will come back. Sunday again I will meet you. So thank you for coming, and the whole history of language, as simple as possible, I tried to present. And the next day we will again talk about why Veda apurusheya, and then go to the Rig Veda. Let us chant this mantra again. The source is the consciousness. From the consciousness, everything has been born. So we are going back to the consciousness, and that is called religion. The religion is going back to the source, and the source is that consciousness. So it says, though you see so many differences, there may be the human, there may be the God, there may be in between God and human, that's called yaksha. There may be higher caste, there may be lower caste, there may be educated, there may be uneducated, there may be a sannyasi, a monk, There may be a householder, but I don't belong to all these things because I am what I am, that I am that consciousness. That is the meaning of these two lines. Naham manusho nacha deva yakshaha na brahmana kshatriya vaishya shudraha na brahmachari na grihi vanasthava bhikshur na cha aham nija bodha sarupa. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Let the celestial being be happy with us. Let all the beings all around us be happy with us. May I myself be happy with myself. Let there be peace, peace, peace.